You wanna know what's kind of bothering me at the moment? I won't be able to get to see Godzilla X Kong on a Thursday night, or even Friday, because I have to wait until my damn Godzilla costume arrives, because it's taking its sweet time, being mailed here at my house. And I was hoping it would arrive here before we even see the movie, but chances are it's most likely going to be delivered here around the weekend, therefore, most likely Sunday, as that's when we're planning to see the movie, because we already got the Kong costume now. I just need the Godzilla costume. Oh, God, I have to try to avoid spoilers for the next few days. I know I got spoiled for Godzilla vs. Kong. At this point, I totally know little bits of spoilers for Godzilla X Kong, because there are, like, leaks that popped up a few weeks back. I even still have them, by the way, but I'm hoping to avoid the big spoilers. Hopefully, but something tells me I'm most likely going to get spoiled, just like I did last time. I even have footage of me getting my reaction to, like, the spoiler leaks of Godzilla vs. Kong 3 years ago. Now that I think about it, I should probably do a video of that, and recreate the thumbnail. I might as well try to do that on Friday. And with that being said, hello, welcome back to another movie review on the channel. So today we're going to be reviewing one movie and one season, as with Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire coming out this Friday, I figured this would be the perfect time to review the Monsterverse movies, as, even after Godzilla vs. Kong was out, I did do a review of Godzilla, continuing the Monsterverse with the hashtag trend. Now, obviously, I'm going to do a re-review of that, but in a double movie review, which, should be out tomorrow. Well, not out tomorrow, because I haven't filmed the video yet, but still, expect that tomorrow, or most likely Thursday, if I am late on posting it. But yeah, not only will I be re-reviewing Godzilla, but I'll also be re-reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong, because why not? So yeah, I did watch Kong Skull Island today, as I'm watching the movies in preparation for Godzilla X Kong. And this could have been a separate review, but then I thought, you know what, I'm going to include the Skull Island series on here, because I did get to watch that. I actually binge-watched the entire series in one night while I was in Orlando. And yeah, I figured why not just include that in here, because it's Kong Skull Island related, as this show takes place after the events of Skull Island, even though it's an animated show. And besides, I've already reviewed Monarch Legacy of Monsters, as that's part of the Monsterverse, so I might as well review Skull Island as well. But before I can even talk about my thoughts on Skull Island, that's now streaming on Netflix, let's just start with Kong Skull Island, as this would be, well, this is the second movie in the franchise, but if you want to watch the movies in timeline order, you gotta start with Kong Skull Island, because it takes place around, like, 1973, I think? Is it 1973? Or 45? I lost track. So yeah, I don't know what I mentioned in my past Monsterverse videos, as I did do, like, a multi-trailer reaction for all 4 trailers, for Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Skull Island, then Godzilla vs. Kong. I also did a ranking video of all 4 of them, then talked about my experience with all the Monsterverse movies. So, I don't know what I said specifically about Skull Island, but I'm probably going to say the same thing I've brought up already in my experience with the Monsterverse in this review. Especially with how I reacted to the post-credit scenes, because wow. Anyway, so background knowledge. So, yeah, before going into this, and once I saw the trailers that were released online, yeah, my first thought was that, oh, so this is like a remake of, like, the King Kong movie. And I was intrigued to check it out, but unfortunately, I never got the chance to see this in theaters. In fact, I don't even know how I never got to see this in theaters. This came out in 2017, right? In March? Around the same month that Logan was released. Oh, sorry, I got off topic thinking about how emotionally destroyed I was watching that movie in theaters. But yeah, of course I did eventually watch it just at home, Sally, as we rented the movie, but I gotta be honest, this was kind of hard for me just to watch Kong Skull Island, and I have a good excuse for why I had a tough time watching this, but also just why I wasn't too much of a fan of it. I mean, I did like it, but just, there were just some certain moments in there that I'm like, no! More specifically, character deaths, let's just say. Well, actually 2 character deaths. And I even mentioned this in my ranking, and I don't know if I can find the comment, but I could have sworn I saw someone commented about, like, how technically that was what makes it a good movie or something. I don't know, I just remember seeing a comment about it, but if I found it, here's the comment that I'm probably already showing you. If I've not found it, then damn, that sucks. But yeah, if you were to ask me what was my rating back then, it probably would have been between a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. But now that time has flown by, does my rating still remain the same? No, actually, it has kind of changed. now that time has flown by. And let's just say that I now have a better appreciation for it because of a certain show that came out recently, which was Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Even though that is taking place after the events of Godzilla, they do got like flashbacks that go back to like 1940 something. So I'll explain that later in the sec, but yeah, let's just talk about my general thoughts with Kong Skull Island, which I would have my notes that I would have put on Letterboxd, but I guess I'm gonna have to go off script here. Now, as I said earlier, I thought this was basically a remake of King Kong, the 2005 movie that has Jack Black in it, by the way. And I definitely did like the design for Kong, as this was a lot... this Kong was a lot more bigger than the one from King Kong. And I was surprised they didn't title this King Kong, because apparently there's like a copyright thing going on, as he can only be called Kong, or... I don't know, I saw something about that a while ago. But yeah, I figured that, okay, since this is most likely a remake of King Kong, they're gonna try to maybe get Kong off that island or something, or... I don't know. But yeah, my thoughts before going into it was just that, yeah, I figured I'd see the same thing again like I saw in King Kong, as I figured I took this as a remake, but boy was I wrong, because this was, of course, entirely different compared to King Kong. But what I did not know about this movie was that this was connected to Godzilla, as in this was part of what was becoming a cinematic universe. Now, I will talk about my thoughts on the post-credit scenes in a sec, but let's talk about pros and cons. So I know not many folks give two about the human characters in most of these Monsterverse films, but I say the human characters in here are a lot more likable, and probably a lot more better than the human characters we got in the Godzilla films. I mean, I do like some certain human characters. I can understand why I'm a bit different with how people feel, but I could, now being older, I can slightly understand, but there's some certain characters I enjoy in here, but I will say the human characters in Kong Skull Island are probably a bit better than the human characters we've gotten in the two Godzilla films. The standouts for me are definitely Tom Hiddleston as Conrad and Brie Larson as Weaver, but also Samuel Jackson as Colonel Pecker? Is that his name? Pecker? Oh god, I've already forgotten his damn name. Even though that Samuel Jackson basically played a human bad guy in this movie because he wanted revenge because of Kong killing most of his men, which in his defense, he was just defending his territory because he owns the island, because he's King Kong. He's king of Skull Island. But yeah, like I said, I do like most of the human characters in this movie. There are two certain deaths that I was bummed out about, that I'm like, no, they killed them off, which... yeah, let's just say that the reason I didn't like this movie much was because of two certain character deaths that I was bummed out that were killed off. And one would, of course, be Chapman, which, God, I feel so bad. He was trying to get back to his family after just, well, I guess not losing the war, but like abandoning it or something. I don't know. I don't know what was happening during 1970 something. But this now hurts a lot more having to see his younger version in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and that would be Randa. Like, and I did mention this in my review for Legacy of Monsters, like, it's now even more heartbreaking knowing what happened to him, and just, God, man, I just feel bad. I really was not expecting him to get killed off. Like, I just was not happy about it. I was not happy about it. But I have two reasons for why I didn't enjoy this movie much back then. Well, not that I didn't hate it. I liked it. It just was tough for me to watch. But why was it tough for me to watch? It definitely was not the character deaths. I felt bad about those two character deaths with Randa and Chapman. No, what made it hard for me to watch was the damn creatures in Skull Island. Because, like, I mean, sure, the creatures were kind of scary in King Kong, which it has been a while since I've seen that movie. But, like, I don't know how to compare the two. So I'm just gonna say that the creatures in here scared the absolute out of me a lot more than what the creatures did in King Kong. Especially with that damn jungle spider that killed a soldier through the mouth. I have a huge fear for spiders, so if I ever saw that thing right in front of me, oh, I'd scream and run. Because I have as much as I love Spider-Man, I hate spiders. Although it would be nice to get Spider-Man powers. But I will say the MVP of this movie is definitely going to, oh my god, I forgot both the actor's name and his character name. The actor I'm talking about voices Wreck-It Ralph in the Wreck-It Ralph movies, but he was the MVP of this movie for me. And the way they ended his character by the end of the movie was definitely heartfelt, as he had been stranded on that island with a Asian soldier that he was fighting against in the war, but eventually they became brothers afterwards, and unfortunately he lost his brother due to the Skullcrawlers, which I would like to talk about those real quick. But yeah, he was stranded on the island for 28 years and has been trying to get off, especially with his newfound friend that he made along the way that was trying to kill him earlier in the movie. But no, the way they showed with how his character had returned home to see his fully grown son, but also his wife still, like, no, that definitely was one of the best parts of this movie, just seeing that, yeah, he made it home safely, and yeah, he can now rest easy, enjoy life, as he was stranded on an island full of dangerous creatures for 28 years, but now he could just sit back, enjoy a beer, eating a hot dog, and watching a baseball game. Anyways, now let's talk about the Skullcrawlers, because we don't get the T-Rexes in here from King Kong, but we definitely do get, like, cool villains for the Monsterverse, which would be the Skullcrawlers. And yeah, they are the main villain of this movie. Well, besides Colonel Pecker being the human villain, as he wanted to get revenge on Kong, the main villain is definitely the big Skullcrawler that Kong fights later in the end of the movie. But no, the whole Skullcrawler concept, I definitely like the designs and the name Skullcrawler. Like, that definitely sounds a bit terrifying. And it fits well with how they even look due to their appearances. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I do also like Kong's design, and I would pretty much prefer, now, the King Kong design is basically just that, so I would consider that as like a classic, but for here, if you were to ask me which design I prefer, it's definitely this one, or if I go with the recent ones, because technically Kong is a teenager in this movie. I mean, just having to see his size comparison in this one, yeah, he would definitely be, like, this is how tall Godzilla would be in around 2014, and this is Kong right here. Like, he's a bit short, but of course he's grown, but like, I didn't even know he was a teenager around this time, but it would definitely make sense, especially for how he would look different later on in both Godzilla vs. Kong movies. But yeah, I do enjoy some of the scenes we get with Kong, even though we are mainly just following some of the human characters, but yeah, I'd say we get like a good chunk of scenes of Kong in here. Probably the same runtime we got of how many times we saw Godzilla in his own movie. But the final battle would definitely be one of my favorite parts of the movie, as it's just straight up badass. Now, as much as I'm Team Godzilla, I gotta give props to Kong, because he is a pretty skilled fighter for a big ass monkey. Especially when he used one of the spinning thingamajigs that are under the boat. Like, he used it as a weapon and just cut up the big Skullcrawler. Like, no, the dude is big brain. I can kind of see why my mom is on Team Kong, which, by the way, whenever I asked her about whose team she was on, I honestly figured she was not gonna care too much about, like, I guess Godzilla, but no, she answered Kong immediately as I asked, like, oh, she's actually taking this seriously. So that was a surprise for me, but yeah, my mom's Team Kong, well, I'm Team Godzilla here, but as much as I'm Team Godzilla, I gotta give props to Kong, because he was a badass in this movie. But yeah, I can maybe slightly see why I had a hard time watching this, because I was young around 2017, so maybe I probably wasn't ready just to watch this movie. Now, it is still kind of a bit terrifying, but I don't have like a hard time watching it than I did back then, as I now have a bigger appreciation for it, especially after Legacy of Monsters. But basically what I'm trying to say is that I do like Kong Skull Island a lot more than how I did not like it much back then. I liked it, like, just, this is how much I liked it, but now, today, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. So my rating is probably just going to be an 8 out of 10. I feel like that'd be good enough, just to give it an 8 out of 10. Oh, right, I almost forgot before I moved on to the Skull Island review. So back then, I figured this was a remake of King Kong, but, so I probably have already mentioned this in my experience with the Monsterverse, but around summer of 2017, I was on YouTube as I was at a school where my mom was working at. I was just chilling on YouTube. I see a certain thumbnail that, wait, what is this? And I honestly could not believe what I had discovered, because what shocked me the most after watching this post-credit scene from Kong Skull Island, that I didn't even know Kong Skull Island had a post-credit scene after I was done watching the movie. But still, having to see that post-credit scene and hear Godzilla roar at the end, no, that had to be one of the coolest post-credit scenes I've seen in the history of post-credit scenes. And I usually be focused with MCU post-credit scenes, but for a non-MCU movie, this one has to be probably one of my personal favorites. But still, I was shocked to find out that, whoa, are you telling me this is connected to Godzilla? Oh my god. I obviously made a big deal about it once I found out, like, I was pretty much losing my shit by it in front of my mom. I was like, Mom, no, they're in the same universe, oh my god! Like, I didn't even know they were planning on doing the cinematic universe. I probably shouldn't even paid attention in the trailers when they said from the producers of Godzilla. I should have paid a lot more attention, because Monarch was brought up a lot throughout this movie, as they were brought up in the Godzilla movie. Then again, I was a child. I didn't understand back then. Now I do, and just, yeah, that post-credit scene obviously teased for Godzilla King of the Monsters, so I was definitely hyped up for that, as that happened to be one of my most anticipated movies. Well, not number one, but it was definitely on my most anticipated list of movies that are coming out in 2019. But no, yeah, that post-credit scene is definitely one of my personal favorites, as I was shocked to find out that Kong Skull Island was set in the same universe as Godzilla. But what was gonna hype me up the most? That we were gonna see these two beasts go up against each other, which would be in Godzilla vs. Kong, of course. Anyways, now let's talk about Skull Island, which, I forgot how I even found out about this, but I definitely remember watching it. Like, I actually binge-watched all 8 episodes in the middle of the night in a hotel room while I was in Orlando, which I still need to upload my day 3 to 5 video vlogs. Oh god. And obviously this season is taking place just a couple of years after the events of Kong Skull Island, and we follow a group of characters who, some get killed off, but some are kind of stranded on the island, as we follow some teenage kids. And unfortunately, I've forgotten their names. I know one of them was stranded here before the other two were stranded on here, and had ended up getting a pet that happened to be a giant freaking dog. Well, not as big as Kong or Godzilla, but still, she ended up making a friend with a puppy animal that would pretty much be her protector from here on out then, around the time. Oh god, maybe I probably should have rewatched the series in preparation. Which, you know what? I'm also trying to take the time to watch it with my mom during the weekend, since I've been trying to have her watch this show, because she's Team Kong! And this guy's... Well, okay, I'll admit, this doesn't have much Kong in here until, like, the last 2 episodes. Because throughout most of the episodes, well, the first half, which I guess would be 1 to 6, we mainly are just stuck with the human characters, just trying to survive from these different creatures, which we do get to see new creatures in here, but I was surprised we got, like, a spin-off show, part of the Monsterverse, which I hope we do get a season 2, because this left us off on a freaking cliffhanger. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't get as much Kong action until, like, the last 2 episodes, as far as I recall, but episode 7 had to be probably one of the best episodes I watched for that season, because we got to see Kong hang out with this human girl that apparently was a friend of his at the time. Unfortunately, something terrible happened to her, along with a whole tribe, that was thanks to a giant squid creature that is apparently a classic Toho villain or something. I don't know. I saw something about it on Twitter. By the way, that fight scene between him and whoever villain I forgot the name of is badass around the finale episode. But yeah, if I had to pick which was the best episode, it's definitely episode 7, because we got like lots of Kong just focused with him on the 7th episode. But the episode was definitely a lot of fun to watch, but I was not happy with how it ended, because because at first I thought we were going to get a human villain character, but nope, it turns out it was a mother trying to retrieve back her daughter that she lost a while ago, which I had a feeling that was kind of slightly predictable, but no, they left us off on a cliffhanger, so I'm hoping they make a 2nd season. Like, I've been checking updates, so far we've got nada, as it's been like kind of almost a year since we've gotten season 1 in June. But yeah, my rating for Skull Island is going to be probably a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. It's between. I don't know. We don't get much Kong action until like the last 2 episodes, but I did have a good time binge watching all 8 episodes in the middle of the night, as I probably was finished editing a video around the time. I can't remember much. It's been like almost a year now. Something tells me I may end up doing a re-review for season 1 of Skull Island, because I know that was quick and short, as it has been like a while since I've only seen the season once back in June, but I have been trying to have my mom watch it, because again, she's Team Kong, and this is Kong related, even though he doesn't pop up till like the last 2 episodes. But hey, I have all week just to have my mom sit through all 8 episodes of Skull Island, and I'm going to make sure she at least checks out the entire series, because again, she's on Team Kong, so I figured that, oh, my mom's gonna enjoy this. Yet she always falls asleep on the first episode. Probably because we're always watching it late at night. But anyways, that being said, those are just my thoughts on both Kong Skull Island that was released in 2017, but also Skull Island that was released on Netflix last year. But yeah, I did enjoy both Monsterverse content from the show and the movie, as I now enjoy a lot more than I did back then. But yeah, stay tuned for my double movie review for Godzilla and King of the Monsters tomorrow. As you'll most likely see this video tomorrow, because right now it's like 10:06, and I need to get to bed, so I can't stay up late to edit this video, unfortunately, because I'm trying not to stay up late, because, like, I was dozing off trying to watch Skull Island, and that's because I was up late, so I don't want to keep staying up late, otherwise, I'm gonna drop dead any day now. No way, that can't technically happen, unless if I haven't been sleeping for 48 hours, possibly, or 36 hours or so. I don't know, you get the idea, but as always, I'll see you all in the next Monsterverse review, in preparation for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Peace out.